Welcome again to another edition of Ultimate Politics. I'm Wade Norris. Today we have John Powers from the Alliance for Sustainable Colorado and the Alliance Center. John, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Wade. Carbon dioxide, which is of course the big concern, global warming emission gas, by volume is the biggest thing we have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
However, methane is 80 times more heat trapping. Every time you do anything with natural gas, drill, I don't care how you drill. Fracking is a type of drilling.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter how you drill and you bring it to the surface, you've got a casing, it's going to leak around the casing to some extent. When you have valves, it's going to leak at those valves. When you put it in a transmission line, it's going to leak at the transmission line. When you come to a dewatering condensing station, it's going to leak there. When you come to a compressing station, it's going to leak there. When it comes into the pilot light in your house, it's going to leak there. There's leak points all along the way. When you're talking about a bridge fuel, a bridge starts at some place and it ends at some place, right?
Right.
And you build a bridge in between. What's the end point? We're putting all this investment in the infrastructure for natural gas. That's going to end up ideally being, well, not ideally, it's a double-edged sword. It has to become a stranded asset because we have to stop burning fossil fuels. So all the money we put in the infrastructure to develop the natural gas system is money that should be being, in my mind, being put into the demand side and into the most benign supply side. So this is a bridge. It's a bridge to what? And why are we putting the money in the bridge when we should be putting money in the to what? The landing point.
Right.
And that's my real concern. I've also heard recently from the proponent of fossil fuels that wind and solar are uneconomical. Well, that's not true because now utility scale solar is the cheapest form out there. We're investing now so heavily in the infrastructure of natural gas, it's diverting that investment away from the other side of the bridge.
Right.
Where are we going to land? The U.S. has a chance to provide the leadership. Colorado has a chance to provide leadership for the U.S. So when one takes the steps, Colorado has the potential to be a leader internationally.
What things have we seen in real time? And the example I want to use is the flood of September 2013. What things are you seeing that people are maybe starting to wake up just because of the change in the environment that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis? Do you see a switch point where enough people who have lived through like Hurricane Sandy or Katrina or these regional floods or the drought, the mega drought that happened in California, where people are starting to say, hey, when is that snap? When is that point where 50 plus 1 gets that something has changed?
We can either anticipate what's coming at us, which is irrefutable, or we can wait for these crises to mount and more of these experiences to happen before we say, oh, geez. But there's going to be a lot of heartache and a lot of sorrow and a lot of economic pain. People in the short term say that economically we can't afford to do these controls. And I'm saying economically long term, if you don't do them now, you're toast. There's a movement now among college students and beyond, divest, invest. And I want to go on record to let you know that that was conceived on the 3rd floor of this here Alliance Center.
Really?
It was.
Tell me about how that happened. That's very exciting.
There's a group called You Sow, and You Sow and some other folks happened to be meeting in here, all coincidence. They could have been meeting in Minneapolis. They weren't. They happened to be meeting here upstairs. And they came up with the idea that you have to divest, which means take your investments out of fossil fuels, and then you have to invest them in something alternative.
So you guys have made a lot of renovations here. What was that all about?
Well, the Alliance for Sustainable Colorado founded to bring the points of view together to come up with long-term solutions that are wiser and more readily accepted. When you're part of creating a solution, you're more likely to implement that solution. So we think of costs in a building on a per square foot base. We're trying to get people to think on a per capita base. So if you've got 5 employees and you're shopping around, well, how much is this office building going to cost us per square foot? The more sophisticated question is, how much is it going to cost our company per worker? Because that includes not just your square footage, it includes your internet, your phone, transportation, parking places, everything. So if you want to think per capita, and that's the model we're trying to create here, because this building was built in 1980. It's now 2014, right? 106-year-old building. We've just renovated it, and we're confident it can be here for another 100 years easily.
Wow.
This is a model for what people can do with existing buildings. It's profitable. So we can get away from the argument about, oh, is it happening? Is it anthropogenically caused climate change? What can I do about it? Well, regardless, for those
It's
people,
profitable.
it's profitable. Are we anti-business? Heavens, no. Are we pro-business? You bet. And we want to help people think long-term. That's why the nonprofit business, government, education is what our mission is based on, is getting those elements to work together and think together for long-term solutions. And we think this is a tangible, visible, you can come experience it place to just understand what you can do with your own buildings. Because there's only a certain amount of talk. There has to be a certain amount of do.
Right. Hey, well, John, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
Yeah, this has been Ultimate Politics. I'm your host, Wade Norris. We'll see you next time.